Hello, friends. This is John Planet Third of episode 151 of Shadow and Flame of Magic, the podcast. And today we're going to review X-Treme X-Men Volume 3, Issue 3. So let's get into it. And recognizing I should have done this issue before the previous episode, but this was tucked under my rest of my year issues instead of my backup issues. So a little out of order, but that's okay, right? So originally, these mutant superheroes were known as Extreme X-Men. Now, in hopes of building a better world for all its children, they've become global marshals responsible for policing the boundaries between humanity and their mutant kinsfolk. They've come to Chicago to help their teammate Kitty Pryde, who's just discovered that an adversary she thought long dead, the legendary ninja assassin Ogun, still lives. His psychic form remained hidden in Kitty's mind since his seeming defeat. Now the X-Team must hunt him down before he can find a new permanent host. After an initial altercation, Rachel races to confront Ogun as only she can. Unfortunately, it turns out Ogun isn't the only threat, as Bishop and Sage found themselves ambushed by a Beastie Brute, an agent of the band of superpowered anti-mutants known as the Gourer. As Gambit and Rogue try to help these two mutant sisters, primarily caught in the anti-mutant actions in Chicago, the team gears up to the fight of their lives. And this issue title is Things Get Worse by Chris Claremont and Salvador Roca. Color artist Guru EFX. Letter of production VC's Clayton Cowles. Assistant editor Drew Baumgardner. Editor Mark Bassel. Jordan D. White, Senior Editor, and C.B. Cebowski, Editor-in-Chief. The cast is Ro, Storm, their leader, Bishop, Remy LeBeau, Gambit, Rogue, Sage, Catherine, Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat, Rachel Summers, Kitty's best friend, Lockheed, her very best dragon friend, Ogun, Wolverine, Ogun, the villain, their adversary. This came out in April 2023. There's a ad here for Venom Lethal Protector 2 by David Michelini and Fred Carmody that I'm going to review after this. Speaking of reviews, if you go to my TikTok or Jackal or YouTube accounts at Jackal SII, you can see the visuals of this comic. Picking up pretty much where we left off in Washington Park, hard by the University of Chicago, and the Gar BC Brutes being confronted by Sanzu, their leader. 6 miles north atop the Wells Tower, 1,500 feet above the city streets, the young lady is Alice Tremaine. Her companion is the next generation mini sentinel she's rescued, who she calls Scrap because that's the only way she could repair him, with scraps. Soaring high above the university, the leader of the X-Treme X team, professionally known as Storm, but who currently prefers her casual name, Ro, she isn't happy. And they're trying to find all these people. Meanwhile, Bishop and Sage are under some debris at the Hells of Bell. And then some protesters are attacking the police. And turns out one of the police is a mutant with force field powers, so that's handy. Imagine she loses her powers in the 198. And then Storm goes around telling people that she's part of the global marshal, so she has some authority. She uses a cool wind to calm people down. Meanwhile, at the moment above Hyde Park, and Rachel confronts Kitty and Lockheed, Lockheed gives a big roar, and Kitty's like, Rachel, stop. He said, Kitty, what are you doing? Get out of my way. Listen up. Hey, there isn't much time to explain. You're charging into a trap. Trust me, Red. I was Ogun's pupil. I know what I'm talking about. You don't think I can handle him? You have no idea what you're up against. Then Rachel takes them to a beach location, putting both of them in bikinis, which is like, oh, Rachel. So tell me then, what have you done? Taking us somewhere safe. Which is exactly what he wants. Ray, I just discovered he's been part of me almost half my life, likely waiting for a moment just like this. Which is weird, like all the things she must have seen through her eyes. You need to lock up your head tight as you can before. And then we see Ogen's visuage in the mindscape is like too late, disciple, translated from Japanese. And then he uses one hand of water and one hand of earth to attack the ladies. And Kitty's in the earth and phasing through it while Rachel's quietly drowning in the water. But Kitty phases through and has two Wolverine claws that are just in her fist. So that's pretty cool. Meanwhile, in the actual reality, Rachel has lost control, and so Kitty and, well, I guess Kitty's gonna fall to her death. And she's like, Monster Man, do you really think I'm that easy? Last time we fought, I was 13, and that kid beat you. I'm older now, and a lot nastier. And so she goes to save Rachel, and I'm nothing compared to Rachel. She means more to me than you ever imagined. I'll do anything for her, same as she would for me. And Rachel, for awesome Phoenix speech bubble says, Monster Man, you think you're tough? It's weird that they've settled on calling him Monster Man, right? Pride and I were bound body and soul. More than once we've asked each of us to risk everything to save the other. Together as part of the X, we've helped save the whole of creation. And now we're gonna bring you to an end. And I gotta figure out what four images from this comic I want to put on the podcast's socials, which is Instagram and um, Twitter at SNFWM. Though I am trying to make the transition to Blue Sky, which is also at Jackal SII, but I don't know, I got so many scheduled posts that I'm just like, I'm pretty dedicated for half the year or something. So look forward to that. But I am thinking about slowly making posts on Blue Sky for like current content. So we'll see how that all works. And then Rachel phases or pushes Kitty out of the mindscape, so she now falls as Rachel's mind, so she wants to fight it in her mind. And then we see Kitty phase all the way through a boulder, which we know what happens there. And poor Lockheed witnesses it and tries to get down. Meanwhile, Rachel's going down to almost save Kitty, but then Beastie Brute punches her in the face, so knocks her out. And then Logan starts attacking Beastie Butte, and then Rachel's like, behind you. And then it turns out Beastie Butte is now controlled by Ogun, and then just starts beating Logan up. And then Gambit wants a piece, because we should remember his name. Logan's not thrilled that he got the assist, and it's like, just work together as a team. Come on. So, and when they do team up, of course, they're the Raging Cajuns, so we love that. And then Storm's throwing lightning bolts to calm everyone down. There's a cute panel of Lockheed checking on Gambit, trying to like pull him on his jacket, which is very cute. And then we see Rachel in her mind being attacked by Sanzu. And honestly, these two don't leave much of an impression. But Rachel takes out Zanzu, which upsets the other guy. Then Ro gets involved to fight the other guy, and then the sisters they're being pals with. And then we get to the dramatic moment of Scrap taking away all the mutant powers in the, city radius. And so the cop loses her force field. Rogue already doesn't have powers, but the sisters feel their powers leaving. And then Storm, of course, was flying, so now she's falling. There's this nice full page remembrance to Carlos Pachalo, who we lost in 2022. Tom Brevoort giving some words, and then Kurt Busiek also sharing, which of course we love Kurt Busiek and Carlos Pachalo, especially their Avengers Forever. And then Storm lands on the ground next to the boulder. She sees Kitty's hand phase through and then go limp as she's under the impression Kitty Pryde has died in that boulder. And then not only is Storm freaking out, but so is Loki with another war. So part of those two wars in the Gamma one, and then I'll figure out a fourth one. And of course, we know how that played out. And that, everyone, was Extreme X-Men Volume 3, Issue 3. So, we haven't seen Venom. My wife went to work today, but my nephew, Curtis, shout outs to CDC, and he hasn't seen the movie either. And so, Walker D and I went with him. So, because I don't know if we would have gone without Curtis's involvement. And Walker started mentioning how Agony was in Fortnite, and so we should expect her in the movie. And I was like, Walker, be cool, man. But there was a part of me the whole time that was like, when's Agony gonna happen? And there is a moment where we see a purple symbiote. Oh, full spoilers, everybody, for Venom: The Last Stand. And um, and so my stomach just did a big growl. Sorry. Uh, And so the whole time, like, well, eventually that little tube's gonna break and we're gonna have agony. And then I looked up at her on well, what's that website? On Travis Starnes Marvel appearances. And apparently she has 42 appearances. A lot of them in the early 90s, and then I guess somewhere around 2011 she starts popping up again. Part when the symbiotes started making money again. Um, and I was like, well, maybe if she's amazing, maybe I'll get all these. I'm like, I'm not doing that, but it was pretty cute. Oh, it's by the way, I didn't post this video or anything, but usually I play Fortnite with the sound off, and so I had no idea that Agony's llama back bling, which I'm using as a Lockheed substitute. Well, maybe I should post it now that I've made this reference. Apparently, it makes a little noise, like a brr, when you make eliminations. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, So overall, I sort of like the movie. I would say there are some tonal shifts in it, or like all the times we see Eddie and Venom, it's like a comedy, and then when we see the military, it's like a very serious movie. And then I guess you're just waiting to see when those two parts merge. And once they do meet up, the A and the B plot, it becomes more of a serious movie. And I'm like, man, there's also a moment where Eddie comes across this family, and the family sticks around way too long. Where I'm like, what's happening here? Why are we doing this? But we see a lot of different symbiotes. They don't name any of them. Like even Agony doesn't get named. And then She Venom is barely in the movie for like 5 seconds, and there's no Michelle Williams, so it's like, this is who you pair her up? Because there was this Christmas symbiote lady. If you're gonna do two symbiote lady bundle, should have used those two, but I don't know why they didn't. Um, but yeah, I think the movie's all right. Walker D. Bree had used the bathroom, so we missed the mid-credit sequence, but I saw it on YouTube, and I didn't think we missed much. Then we stayed through the credits, and then that end credit, I was just like, I feel like we didn't miss much there either, so I don't know. There was a Craven the Hunter trailer that I thought looked pretty decent. Though I am going to go in there with the expectations we're going to see some chameleon action. But the trailer did have a Rhino Man, so I don't know if we're going to take a second stab at the Rhino, but that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, overall, Venom The Last Stand ended the trilogy pretty well. I literally heard zero spoilers or reviews from it, so yeah, I'm not sure. So let's see what comics came out this last week. So yeah, Conquest 2099-3 came out, which did have some Cyclops 2099 in it, so that was interesting. Oh yeah, NYX 5 ends the arc, this time with the whole team being spotlighted. Um, Sophie fought against her sisters and Empath, who's the worst, and then ends the issue without her telepathic hive mind powers, which I'm suspecting means that she's gonna be more like Emma, like maybe she burned out the hive mind and now will be um pretty much just a younger Emma, which I'm sure Emma doesn't love me saying that. But yeah, overall, pretty solid. And Miss Marvel was written superbly by being the inspiration to everyone. So that's very in line with her. Oh yeah, and then Psylocke number one, um, which was a very great opening issue. I thought Cyclops could have been a lot kinder to her because all the press was just like her marketing was he kicks her off the team, but really he's giving her vacation time to like settle get her mind right. But he could have said it nicer. But Magic showed up, so it was pretty cool that Wong found a way to write the X-Men into her opening arc. So I'm like, all right. And then Cray Crow's there, which I'm a big fan of Quan Jung. And yeah, so it's solved the issue. And Magic was in there for two appearances or panels. So yeah. And they dive into her origins a little bit more and then use that origins to kick off the why their ongoing's important. So overall, I really dug it. Oh yeah, and the Ultimate X-Men 9 is just what a comic this is. Um, we're moving forward the Children of Atom plot. There's a festival coming up, so now we have like a endpoint of like, well, something bad is going to happen at this festival. Armor beats up this bully, who's just racist against mutants, and it's like, come on, this bigotry needs to end. And oh, and we got Ultimate Wolverine, who is hero Akihiro. So that's cool. It was a very gross couple panels with all these cables coming out of his mouth. So I was just like, "Oh, Peach Momoko, you are a generational talent." Um. And then Mai, the wind mutant, saw her father with Surge, and Surge makes a very big point about how they're just going on a date, like it wasn't going to be sexual or anything, but still weird. Um, Well, I did question wouldn't May recognize Surge, but I imagine just seeing her father or someone her own age is like gross. And so they have a confrontation. And so yeah, it feels like we're just building towards something big. And then Uncanny X-Men 5. Um, Rogue fights Mother, whose name I'm blanking on. Grim something? I know her real name's Sarah. And turns out Sarah's pregnancy was not Xavier's son, so we're cleared on that charge. Um, and then all of her goons attacked the Marcus's family's home, so everyone fights them off, and Calicchio turn have a Juggernaut mode, and so we get Ember and her. Um, I don't know, just in a cute fiery Juggernaut visual, and I was like, all right. Um, And it sort of ends with like a peaceful stance with Warren Ellis. No, I'm sorry, Warden Ellis. And Rogue's team was just like, hey, we're not going to bother you, don't bother us. Like, fine. But now we know there's a crossover of Cyclops' X-Men, so clearly he's going to hear about that peace and be like, that's not okay anymore. And then Venom War Wolverine was no good. Or it's just like a solo Wolverine title that it's just not for me. But it's like Marauders King in Black where it's just a satellite title. Probably could have been one issue and he just fights a symbiote nowhere near the Venom War. So let's see what we can get excited about this week. Ooh, Exceptional X-Men 3. So I should go on eBay after this and purchase that. Finally, that issue's coming out. Um, what if Minnie Mouse became Captain Marvel could be fun. Marvel Zombies Dawn of Decay has been no good. Um, Oh, Phoenix 5, a title I've forgotten about. Predator versus Black Panther, which, okay. Ugh, Sentinels 2, like, well, that's not been good either. It's just hard to care, like, oh no, the people who are racist are gonna die? Like, alright. Storm issue 2, see what she deals with her toxin poisoning. Venom War is Jeff is a very cute idea. Oh, and Wolverine 3, which says he's fighting Department H. So, all right. So next week we will definitely be covering Exceptional X-Men 3, and um, and then we'll discuss the rest of the issues too. But Exceptional X-Men 3 is what we're most excited about, and then ugh, oh no, and then Storm 2, and then it's just Lesser of Evils. I guess Phoenix 5, Wolverine 3, and Sentinels 2. Yeah, I guess that's it. All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for listening. I'm going to upload that Fortnite video, so you can go to YouTube Jackal SII for that, and go on to the socials for the podcast. I should see if I could do a blue sky for the podcast, but I feel like they don't make alternate accounts as easily as one would think. But I'll look into that. Um, but thank you, dear listener, for listening, and I will talk to you next time. All right, everyone. Bye.